Hi everyone, huge news today because 7 members of the Labour Party have left the Labour Party. They've defected and created their own party called the Centrist Party, I assume. Breaking, 7 Labour MPs announced resignation from party to form a new independent group. The Independent Group, that's what they're calling it. The 7 MPs are as follows: Chuka Umunna, Luciana Berger, Chris Leslie, Angela Smith, Mike Gapes, Gavin Shuker and Anne Coffey. They made the announcement just after 10 a.m. days after pledges for the party's unity went viral. The movement of newly independent MPs calls itself the Independent Group. Other people have been calling it other things. I've been calling it the new SDP, amongst other things. I was especially proud of the Maleficent 7. I came up with that. I thought it's great. Maleficent is exactly what they are, because they're doing this for harm, not for good. But there, at the bottom of this Canary article, it says what people are really talking about. Defecting MPs will not be calling for by-elections in their constituencies. So what I thought immediately is, right, okay, so they've ran as a member of that party. They have had all the benefits of that party's infrastructure. They have all the benefits of that party's grassroots organisation. They have all that benefits of the party's stature. They have all the benefits of that party's advertisement campaigns, etc. They have all the benefit of that party's leader, who increased his majority more than ever before, more since 1945 or whatever it was. And they have all, obviously, the benefits of the money behind that party that is paid for the people. But when they leave the party, they keep the position that that party gave them. And they don't have an election. They don't say, okay, I'll be democratic about it, let's see. They don't actually have the courage of their convictions to say, I'm popular, I can win a by-election, I can win an election. No. That just shows you how gutless they are. It's gutless, that is. And none of them are going to face a by-election, which really is pathetic. But this was a long time in coming, let's face it. Now, what I just said with regards to that, you know, them being gutless, there's a video of Tony Benn saying pretty much the same thing to members of the Labour Party in the 1980s who left to form the SDP. Take a look at this, it's glorious.
About people whose entire life depends on the working class movement. Your father was a miner, he was in jail in the general strike. You got into Parliament as a Labour member. Every office you held was because of the Labour Party. Cabinet Minister, appointed by a Labour Prime Minister, and then you left the party. Now that's a cancerous growth. Not personally, but I think people who betray those who gave them power are the real threat. And I must say that bluntly to you, because I think that's
a cancerous growth. Yeah, that's what the Maleficent 7 are. Remember, Luciana Berger was parachuted into her safest of safe seats in Liverpool. She was parachuted in. She's not going to hold a by-election. So this Maleficent 7 are no great loss. And people are airing that view on Twitter today because, oh, by the way, before I get to that, this was glorious because Emily Thornberry wrote a big long response on her Facebook page. And you know how on Facebook and Google they have snippets, don't they? When you do a search on Google, they have a snippet of it that ends at the ... at the end. Well, her snippet of her long response to this on Facebook pretty much didn't need any other words. Dear friends, you may have seen the news this morning that a small group of Labour MPs are planning to break away to form a new party, and I wanted to give you my reaction to that. Whatever. I thought that was glorious. Somebody from the Huffington Post actually caught that. Well done. I've been calling it the Maleficent 7. I've also been calling it the new SDP. However, they're not the best names. Rachel Swindon, who I disagree with about half the time from what I've seen, she says this: can I be the first person to name the new centrist party the Blairite Party? And that the Blairite project, sorry, I think that is perfect. I think that is comedy genius, and I think Rachel Swindon won the internet today. They're no great loss. these Blairites aren't. And they are, they're Blairites, they're neoliberals, the neoliberal centrists. Just look at Chuka Umunna's voting record. Just look at his voting record on foreign policy. He almost always voted for use of UK military force in combat operations overseas. I'll come into that a little bit more in a second. He voted against investigations into the Iraq War. How can any Labour Party member vote against investigations into the Iraq War? How can any MP from any party anywhere vote against investigations into the Iraq War? If you don't investigate what we did wrong, if you don't investigate the crimes that have gone on in the past, if you don't punish those people who have committed those crimes in the past that we know were committed, guess what? It'll going to happen again. But no, Chuka Umunna doesn't want that. Chuka Umunna doesn't believe in self-reflection. He voted for replacing Trident rather than scrapping it. He generally voted for strengthening the military covenant. And he generally voted against UK membership of the EU. Yes, Chuka Umunna, hardline Remainer, voted against UK membership of the EU. What does that tell you? Because now he's the guy delivering the petition for a second referendum to 10 Downing Street. What does that tell you about whether he has any values whatsoever? He certainly doesn't have the courage of his convictions. He also consistently voted against reforming the NHS, so GPs could buy services on behalf of their patients. Let me remind you, he's all about democracy and he's all about the values of the people. Chuka Umunna has voted against cannabis deregulation or cannabis legalisation every single opportunity. The last vote that I covered, that Norman Lamb from the Liberal Democrats put forward in December, or it might have been January, was just a motion just to have a discussion about it. And he voted against that. That's who Chuka Umunna is. Chuka Umunna is the man, remember, that originally said a second vote would be undemocratic. He's the worst of the worst, is what he is. Now, there are two members on that list, Chris Leslie and Anne Coffey, just to show you they are no great loss, who not only voted to bomb Syria when David Cameron, George Cameron and David Osborne, I was going to say then, when David Cameron wanted to vote to Syria, they voted for that and the renewal of Trident. And these are the 14 sort of hard-right Blairite Labour MPs. Anne Coffey and Chris Leslie is amongst them. Now, with regards to that vote on the David Cameron vote, when you may remember he went to Parliament and said, can I bomb Syria? And they went, no. 66 Labour MPs voted for that military intervention. Every single one of these people were on that list. Every single one of this Maleficent Seven voted for bombing Syria in 2014, something that the United Nations has now come out and said actually it was most likely the rebels that did it in a false flag. That's who these people are. They personify the last 40 years of UK politics. They say Chuka Umunna, one of the things he said was he's sick and tired of politics as usual. They represent politics as usual. These Blairite neoliberals, these centrists over here, over in the US, you call them the corporate Democrats. They are the last protectors. They are the last line of defence against a socialist movement, against a progressive movement. They are the last line of defence. These centrists over here, these Blairites over here, and the corporate Democrats over there. Now, it's much worse in America. There's only about 5 progressives in the House. Probably 60-40. with the Labour Party. But it's still bad. You've got to get rid of them. Or you've got to reform them with the threat of getting rid of them. And this is basically what's happened. They haven't left because it was the right thing to do. They haven't left because they believe in what they're saying is right, and they believe that, hey, it is time for a new type of politics. Because that type of politics, they personify neoliberalism. Look at Chuka Umunna's voting record. He's okay on social stuff. But when it comes to war, hey, bomb the crap out of them. You know, when it comes to sanctions, he's probably voted for sanctions. He votes against the reform of the NHS. You know, but he's good on social stuff. But then when it comes to marijuana, he's crap on that as well. This is a neoliberal. He's the very definition. And now they've gone. And of course, they've gone because they were about to get pushed, and that's what it comes down to. It comes down to this vote, this mandatory reselection that was voted for in September, and they are scared because they are going to all be up for mandatory reselection. Personally, I think this mandatory reselection is absolute horseshit. I really do. If you're going to have a rule that says you can primary people, primary them. Don't have a vote that means nothing, and have people like Margaret Hardjaw, people like Joan Ryan have votes and lose votes of no confidence and then have nothing happen. What's the point in it? There's no point whatsoever. To people like, this is why people like me will never join you. These are the people that are blocking progress. These people. These 7 and the other 140. So with regards to them leaving, great. Go. Bugger off. But if you're going to do that, grow a backbone and call a by-election. Otherwise, people like me, Chuka Umunna, are going to attack you relentlessly on Twitter for being a spineless amoeba. And you can say, oh, call off the dogs all you like. Personally, I think the abuse that you're going to get online for this is not enough. I really don't. I don't think it's enough, the abuse that you're going to get. Because you're the type of politician that over the last 30, 40 years has caused the political climate that we are in right now. You say it's time for a new type of politics and you're tired of politics as usual. You represent everything that is politics as usual. You represent the very thing that the entire world is rejecting right now, and that's neoliberalism. Just look at France. You look at Macron and think, yes, I want to do his platform. This is no great loss whatsoever, and as far as I'm concerned, the more that leave as a result of this, the more that bugger off, the better. And if Stephen Kinnock is the next to go, honestly, I'm going to need hospital attention because I will probably die laughing. For more truly honest, independent media like the video you just saw, please subscribe and click the bell below as well so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. If you also like and share and comment on the video as well, that really helps with the algorithm and boosts exposure. And if you can support me, please do so. You can do with any of the avenues on the screen at the moment and below this video. You can support me for as little as $1 a month on Patreon, and every dollar helps. We need your support at the moment. We do not have an operating fourth estate. I'm sure you're aware, a functioning media holding power accountable is vital for democracy. At the moment, we haven't got it. So people like me are having to fill their shoes and do the job for them with your support. Thanks very much for your support. Till next time. Peace and take care.